Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast, where I'll be going over the top news of the last week in retro handhelds, retro gaming, and just gaming in general. Now, it's a light news week. There isn't a lot to talk about, so I thought I would do a little mini conversation about the Anbernic RG Slide that I just got in. And I figured I would just do it in the newscast for a few different reasons. We'll talk about it. If you're only interested in that, jump to that timestamp. Otherwise, let's get into the normal news first. I don't normally like talking about new Switch emulators, but this one is different as it is completely from scratch, with the mission being to only support decrypted games, as opposed to how every other Switch emulator handles it right now. Hydra, an upcoming Switch emulator, is in the early stages, and it is actually only supported on Mac OS right now, but they do plan to use or be available on other platforms at some point. And I just thought it was an interesting project to talk about. PCSX2, the PS2 emulator, has been updated to version 2.4. And of course, I was already done a video on PCSX2. Now I need to make some changes so that it's a little bit more updated. But there is lots of technological updates here that they talk about in the blog post, and a whole bunch of good stuff as usual. Nothing that completely stood out to me as a standout feature, but a bunch of stuff that just combines into a good update. I really wish they would just do an Android port. We're waiting for it, but I know that's not in their cards. 3D Sen finally released 2 weeks or so ago, and this turns NES games into 3D, and is now on sale, part of the Steam sale. I have yet to try this. It's on my list to get to at some point. There is a list of supported games and all of that, but honestly, it is something that is super cool, and you love to see. Now, if you've tried 3D Sen, sound off in the comments. I'm very curious to know what your experience has been, how it's gone, and all that sort of thing. Last of the software news, and Winlator is teasing a controller revolution. It's their words, not mine. Controller revolution. Basically, rumble support, multiple controller supports, D input and X input, mapping setup, and a bunch of awesome news for Winlator users. So just wait a little bit longer for this to come out. All right, so question of the week. What is your most controversial, either gaming or retro handhelds, or our niche, take? It's pretty simple. What is your most controversial take in this community? As somebody who has had a lot of controversial takes, I don't know if I could pick one of them. I mean, for games, you all know, not a big fan of Metroid, not a big fan of Monster Hunter, all of that. I don't know if that is controversial or not, but those are my takes. On the handhelds front, there's a lot of them that I think are completely overrated or not great. So you've seen those reviews. I'm not going to go over it again. I don't want to get in trouble here. This is more about you than me today on this one. I'm going to get in trouble for the RG Slide comments already. So let's keep it to the minimum for me. But let me know in the comments, what are your more controversial takes, I guess? Unpopular opinions. Jumping over into device news now, and Redmi has apparently released their own telescopic controller GamePad. There are 4 extendable kind of grips that hold the phone or tablet in place. Then there's Hall effect sticks and swappable sticks, RGB lighting, micro switches, replaceable D-pad, and a 10-hour battery life. The Chinese price is $70 US, so maybe a few bucks more for North America. So what are your thoughts on this one? I think it looks pretty interesting. All things considered, I'm worried about how well it clamps down with it not being tied together on the left and right side, but the ergonomics look super comfy. Retroid has released a video on their dual screen add-on demo, and I'm actually going to watch it for the first time here. I haven't seen this yet this morning, so I'm filming, just looking at it. It looks like they're showing off how far the hinge goes. Looks like it's a better hinge than the one they're using in the Flip 2. It goes full 180 degrees to, what is that? 145, 140-ish degrees to 90 degrees, and then it can go completely closed. That's cool. They're showing off a Retroid Pocket 5 in this video. And then They're showing off the dual screen connection, and it mirrors the original Retroid Pocket 5, it seems like, as a default sort of scenario. And basically, you just have a mirror image of the two. And if we skip through, you can basically push on an app, and it looks like you can send it to that screen. There's 3 different configurations on there. So you can send it to the screen or the internal screen or whatever. And the option they're showing here is an app split screen. So looks like they have YouTube open on one screen, and then you could have the game on the other screen, which is pretty much exactly what people want for one of the use cases. The next use case would obviously be emulators. And so they showed off different emulators here, with Azahar being an example. So you have one screen on the top, one screen on the bottom. Looks fantastic. Then on the opposite end, you have Melon DS, which you have one screen on the top, one screen on the bottom. I am going to assume that is Melon DS from the Play Store and not the RetroArch Core, although I can't see any reason. Yeah, I can't tell from just the actual images here. Then we look at Citra, and of course, Citra MMJ, I believe, is the one that supports the dual screen, from what I understand. So that would be an option here. So that's pretty much all 3 use cases of Citra, Melon DS, and Azahar. I'm just skipping through. I don't see an option for written guide and game at the bottom. That would be the only other use case that I would see that you would use. So we'll have to test that out. But from what I can see in this video, it seems like every use case works out. And that's pretty cool. So I'm excited about this. I should have one coming. They said I would be getting one. So we'll see whenever I get my review unit for this. I'll go through all the use cases. I have a bunch of different devices that we'll test out and see if it works with this. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm excited about this. We also got a little bit of a tease, not from GPD directly, but from somebody else, showing off a new GPD Win. We're going to call it the Win 5 until a name is out, but whatever the Win 4 replacement or successor is. And it is apparently using the AI Max Plus 395 processor, the same one that I reviewed in the Asus ROG Flow Z13, that tablet PC that is a beast. And apparently the GPD has that. Now, this is super exciting. That processor in the Flow Z13 is an absolute beast. It is probably, for a lot of people, that will be the best handheld sort of, or even just mini PC sort of processor for a while. It is on par with an RTX 4060 in power. It is really good. So the one problem I see here with what they're showing here as far as the scores go is the TDP that you need to hit those scores on the Flow Z13 is pretty much in the 40s, 50s range, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've had the Flow Z13. But what's cool about this is you can see hints of what the Win 5 is going to look like. It doesn't look like I can tell that there's going to be a pop-out screen anywhere, a slide-out screen. And it looks a little bit taller than the Win 4 is. So this is the interesting part to me. It's going to be an expensive device if it actually is using that AI Plus or Max Plus 395. And I'm wondering how they're going to handle the thermals and cooling, because that hasn't been a strong point of GPD in the past. But super excited for this. I am really excited to see what they do here with that chip. We have now finished voting on our game of the month, which is Jet Set Radio for Dreamcast. We finished voting for ROM Hack of the Month, which is a bootleg called Super Mario 4. It's a weird game. And then we voted on our game of the season, which ended up being Suikoden 2. Suikoden 1 was our last game of the season. That was my first time playing Suikoden. It's a fantastic game. So I'm super excited to get into number 2 for the second game of the season. But what are you doing? Why aren't you coming to play some games with us? You should. We're playing games every month. And these are the games of this month and the games of the season. Okay, so Xbox layoffs have started this week and a lot has happened. Phil sent out an internal memo that basically said the Xbox brand is doing wonderful. Okay, Phil. Across the board, and we are super strong. Okay, Phil. But we have to lay off a bunch of people to continue being successful. Okay, Phil. So thanks to all of you that did this for us all over the years, but it's time for you to go. Honestly, the memo is actually pretty infuriating if you read it. And for anybody that's worked in a corporate environment, I'm sure a lot of people have, it reads as that. And you know that like your contributions to the company, your loyalty to the company means absolutely nothing when a day like this comes and they just go wholesale on layoffs across the board. And it's even more irksome that in this memo, they're like, we are doing so great, but we have to let you guys go to continue being great. It's like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. And it's also kind of a lie because the Xbox brand is not doing great as a whole in gaming. Game Pass is doing good from the numbers they've given us, but no, Xbox as a brand has never been lower across the board. They are dead last in Sony, Nintendo, Xbox. They have not done much on gaming in the last 11 years since Phil took over. It's been kind of a disaster on all parts. Now, I got in trouble or flack by a few people the last time I said this, but no, Phil Spencer's reign over the last 11 years has not been successful for the Xbox brand. I don't know how you could look at what has happened in the last 11 years and been like, yes, Phil did a great job. Because you can't. And even before, during the Don Matrick era, Phil wasn't just an unknown employee. He was the GM of Xbox at that point. He is as much responsible for what happened with the Xbox One as Don Matrick was back then. Sure, Don gets more of the flack for it, of course, but Phil isn't blameless in that either. And considering everything that's happened in the last 11 years, no, no. All those decisions, all of these layoffs today are during Phil's reign. Games that he greenlit, allowed the developers to work on, whatever it is, this is all under him. Plus all of the other stuff that's happened in the last 11 years. Sure, we can give him a few years grace of turning the Xbox One brand around in the first few years, which never actually happened, but he has had more than enough time to do things and turn things around. And no, he hasn't at all. I don't know if a lot of people thought this way back when, but there was a time when the Xbox Cloud or xCloud first came out where a lot of people thought that by now it would be on every single device, every single TV, every single thing in a home, so that, yeah, you weren't tied to an Xbox hardware, which they're kind of going that way. But that actually hasn't happened. Their xCloud service, their cloud gaming service, is completely behind GeForce Now's service. If you've ever used the two, it's night and day. Like there's no competition there. So they're not winning on the cloud service front. They aren't winning on the hardware front, considering they have kind of bowed out and they aren't selling Xboxes. They aren't winning on the gaming front for their first-party games. They had to go and buy Activision and ZeniMax and spent billions and billions of dollars that is now resulting in massive layoffs because they have to afford what they spent. So where is Xbox winning in this? Game Pass. Sure, Game Pass is good. Game Pass is great. It is a good, successful subscription service at the cost of every other part of their business. So no, there's no world where Xbox currently is successful. I don't see it. I don't know where you would see it. They have good numbers for Game Pass, but they've had to destroy every other part of their business to get that to happen. But anyways, as far as what's happening with the layoffs, the initiative, the studio, is closed down, and they were working on the Perfect Dark game, which apparently wasn't even anywhere far along, which I don't understand what's going on there. 50% of Turn 10, who works on Forza Motorsport, is gone. Everwild has been canceled due to the layoffs at Rare, and the Banjo-Kazooie and Sea of Thieves director, Greg Mayles, is leaving Rare after cancellation. So Rare was impacted quite a bit as well. I didn't see anything about Playground. I'm hoping, Forza Horizon is pretty much the only good Xbox IP that's left at this point. So I'm hoping that's left alone. But Forza Motorsport did work on, or Turn 10 did work on some stuff for Forza Horizon, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And there's likely a lot more that I've missed as news is still coming out, but none of this is good at all for Xbox, and that whole memo is just gross. Anyways, my final thoughts here on this is, it is amazing how C-suite executives and people in that position can only fail upwards. It's not you can't fail downwards. Like the people that get affected by the decisions that executives make are everybody on the lower totem pole all the time. They're the ones who are only following directions, doing what they're being told to do from executives. And when things go wrong, they're the first ones to lose their jobs. Not the person who made the decisions. He is going to fail upwards at some point. I'm sure he's going to move on to whatever next position, probably in the next year or so. Somebody else is going to step in. I think Sarah, forget her last name, is going to step in because she's been in every Xbox video lately. And off he goes into the sunset wearing his black t-shirts and gaming shirts and millions of dollars, and nothing went well while he was here. I truly believe that nothing went well. You can say that he was an upgrade over Don Matrick, but I mean, that's a low bar. So Xbox 360 era was the last time the Xbox was good. Okay, so at this point, we're going to continue the rant, but we're going to talk about the Anbernic RG Slide instead. And I'm sorry for those of you that don't like the rants and all that sort of thing, but I got to talk about some things sometimes. And some things make you angry, like the Xbox layoffs. They make you angry. And then we have the Anbernic RG Slide that we're going to talk about today. Now, there's going to be people wondering, why am I not doing a video on this, right? So I have it here in front of me. This is the Anbernic RG Slide, and I don't know how well this is going to work with a green screen and all that. The reason I am not doing an actual video on this, I wasn't planning on doing it ever, but it hurts my wrists. It actually physically hurts me. So I don't want to do a video because it hurts. And as much as the video would be better than me doing it here in a newscast, it hurts. This is the first handheld I think that I can remember, besides jokingly the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus Metal Edition that could cut me, that actually hurts my wrists and my hands. And so let's just jump right in. Okay, I got the RG Slide yesterday and I unboxed it. I used it for half hour, and that was enough. That was enough for me to just be like, I cannot do this. This thing, it's the worst handheld of the year, easily. It is one of the worst handhelds that I've ever used. It might be one of the top ones. It is thick. I don't know if you could tell how thick this thing is by me showing you here. It is big, it is bulky, it is heavy, it is top heavy. It is not comfortable in any way, shape, or form. It is top heavy to the point where I was like, am I gaslighting myself here? I went to my wife. I'm like, hey, can you hold this? She's not a gamer. She doesn't have any of that. I'm like, can you hold this and just let me know your thoughts? And I didn't say anything before. I'm like, just let me know your thoughts. She instantly grabs it and it like falls over. I'm like, yeah. Okay. So she's like, it's top heavy. Yeah. She's like, I don't understand. I'm like, well, can you use it? Like pretend to use it with the shoulders, the triggers, all of that. So she tries and she's like, I can't use the shoulders and triggers and the buttons at the same time. I'm like, yeah, okay. So after all of this, I'm like, okay, it's not just me. I am not the problem here. So there's a few things wrong. Number one, it's heavy. Number two, it's top heavy to make it even worse. Number three, if you can tell, when you're holding it and you're trying to use the shoulders and triggers for hotkeys, you can't push the actual buttons on it's like, I don't know if you can even see it. Your thumb is all cramped while you're trying to do all of that. And it feels awful because of how tall the actual part is. And so I'm just trying to use this for like a few minutes or so. And like, I kind of gave up at that point. And the screen probably is good. I didn't even get that far. I'm just like, I can't even use this thing. I literally can't. The screen's probably good, but they used it in the wrong device, for sure, 100%. This is the wrong device to use this screen in. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. This is an awful handheld, just completely awful. And you might be wondering, why did I order it if I wasn't planning on reviewing it? I do that a lot. I order a lot of handhelds, even if maybe I'm not interested in them. And a lot of times it does work out in the opposite way, where the Addon 2 Portal I had zero interest in. It comes, and it's now one of probably my favorite handheld of all time. The RG Cube XX came in. I had no interest in it, and it did a complete 180, and I actually really like it now. So that happens a lot, enough for me to be like, well, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it. But no, there is no redeeming qualities about this. There is no way I would ever put this on a recommendation list. Nobody should be buying this. It is a complete failure on every front. This is, they had the screen first. This is fully what I understand happened. They had the screen first, and they decided to make the most obnoxious design around it. And not even like, I like the PSP Go. I had one a few weeks ago. They sent me one, or I bought one, and it had dead pixels everywhere, so I had to send it back. But I was going to combine it or compare it with this. The PSP Go was pretty cool. This is not cool at all. This is completely awful. So yeah, for those of you that are going to order one of these and then try and defend it, no, I'm not going to be on that train at all. I think the sliding mechanism is cool, but loud. Like it's very, very strong. That part's cool, but that's it. That's it. I think the controls are probably fine. Like, I don't mind how the layout is, but it's everything else. So yeah, that's my RG Slide thoughts. I could have made a video on this. I decided not to because I don't want to hold this. This is getting sold right away. It's going to whatever home. I feel bad for whoever's going to get this, but what a waste of $200 for me. Like, yeah, I guess I bought this on my own. Nobody sent this to me. It is such a regretful purchase. Like, this is just an awful device. I don't know. And I don't know what the reviews were like. I don't watch reviews. I have no idea what people said. But if there's a world where this was not panned immediately, I don't like that world because no, I don't see the redeeming qualities about this. Anyways, let's move on to our newscast Q&A as the final for today because we've talked enough about this. Newscast@joeysretrohandhelds.com is the email address, or you can come join the Discord and send it in through the newscast Q&A channel there. I got two of the same sort of questions for this week's newscast, one from Drew and one from Matt Davis. And the general gist of these questions, I could read them, but the general gist is, what is my choice of sling bag and what do I recommend to people? Now, Drew said that he values ruggedness and he uses a company, or he had one many moons ago from an Australian company called Crumpler. And he likes having an RG34XX SP with him and all that sort of thing. So he's curious about a sling bag. And then Matt Davis, alternatively, is he's trying to figure out one that doesn't make him look like a dork. That is his one thought here, and one point on this one. He seems to think it's like a nerdy type thing to use a sling bag. I had a lot of comments like this last week when we talked about sling bags with people that are like a little bit not comfortable, I think, with who they are to wear a sling bag, as if it's some big thing to wear a bag, and likened it to like a fanny pack in the 90s. I don't agree with that, and I don't think it looks like a dork at all. But I don't know. People have their tastes. They don't like a sling bag, they don't have to be forced to like one. So he was also curious what would not make him look like a dork, I guess. And I don't know how to answer this question for him because I don't think any of them really look that way. Like, I guess for both examples, I don't know a lot of sling bags. Like, I'm not in that hobby, I guess, to know all of the options. My first sling bag was a Bellroy Venture 6-liter sling. It's a smaller one, but it's a nice kind of bougie one, I guess. But I liked it a lot. It was slim, minimalistic. It was really good. And then my newest one that I've been using since about a year is an AER Day Sling X Pack 3 Max something. I'll post it in the description for anybody interested. And that is a bigger one. I could put like an Odin 2 portal inside of it and all that. And that is my favorite right now. But it's expensive and it's just, I use it every day. So it's better. The TomTalk slings on Amazon are really good. There's a 3.5 liter one. And then there's another one from TomTalk. Those are really good options I think I could recommend them pretty much to anybody as like a general, try it out, see if you like it. And if you don't, you could return it. It's Amazon, that sort of thing. But otherwise, I don't know of other options. I don't follow that whole scene or anything. I kind of just stumbled into it, found one I liked, and then found another one I liked, and then I exited. That's kind of how it was. But yeah, I don't see sling bags as dorky. I don't see it as that at all. I'm 36 years old. I want a bag to hold my wallet and things that I buy and my flip and all of that sort of thing. And I don't care about the rest of it. I think it looks fine. I like wearing it. It's not one of those things where I'm like conscious about it. It's one of those things where I'm like, how did I live without a sling bag before I got one? That's kind of where I'm at. So Drew, Matt, probably start with the Tom Talk sling bags on Amazon. Try that maybe and see if you see any other ones on Amazon. There are a few, like Waterfly, I think makes one, all that. But some of them look like, I can see what you mean. Some of them do look like maybe more like teenager style than adult. But that's going to be up to your preference, I guess. That's all we have this week for questions. So newscast@joeysretrohandhelds.com is the email address, or newscast Q&A channel in the Discord if you want to come join through there. I appreciate you all for watching. And that's all from me, Norwood, Young America, Minnesota.